This podcast is dedicated to my grandmother and continuing her legacy of helping people. As a highly sensitive woman, so often you put everyone else's needs and opinions before your own because you think that you're broken or there's something wrong with you. And then you struggle to find your purpose and you wind up stuck. Well, that changes today. I'm giving you 4 tips to find your purpose. It's time to get unstuck. Hey lady, welcome to the Highly Sensitive Woman podcast. Do you struggle with self-doubt, setting boundaries, or feeling overwhelmed? My name is Alyssa, and I'm a highly sensitive woman who spent years trying to fit in, ignoring my own needs, and living in constant fear of disappointing others. But I finally discovered the power of embracing who I am. And now I don't feel so broken. In this podcast, you'll learn to find your voice, set boundaries, and live with bold confidence and inner peace. Grab a cozy blanket. It's time to connect with someone just like you. Hello, I am so excited you are here and to introduce you to the Highly Sensitive Woman podcast. This has been a dream come true for me, and I can't wait to share all of my thoughts and experiences with you, and I hope that you find it blesses you as well. I wanted to start with giving you a little bit of background about me and how I got to this place. So I always wanted to be a doctor. I chose that profession at such a young age that I don't even remember choosing it. And then life happens and I went to college and I didn't end up graduating with a degree and plan to attend medical school. And I got married and I just sort of fell into teaching because of the circumstances and the people who were around me. I was a newlywed. I had just moved to a new state and I needed a job. And being away from family, I thought it was a great idea to have the flexibility to visit my parents when I was on breaks, and teaching gave me the opportunity to help people because that was something that was always on my heart. That being said, while I feel like I was very good as a classroom teacher and I worked really hard at it and I was dedicated to my profession, I never really felt like it was my purpose. Fast forward several years, I was going through a separation and ultimately a divorce. And I had not been working as a teacher for some time. And I moved back to Indiana to be close to my parents. And I just didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked or what I didn't like. I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life or what my purpose was. And that year was the year that I was turning 40. And I was reminded of my grandmother. My grandmother in the late 70s, early 80s, at the age of 40, she went back to school, starting with her GED, and then went to nursing school to become a registered nurse. Now, at that time, it was almost unheard of for a woman to go through that process, and especially in her 40s. But her perspective was that time was going to pass regardless, and she could either use that time to pursue something that she wanted to do, or she could use that time doing something else and not achieve the goal that she had for herself. And while she passed away when I was just 5 years old, and I don't remember her, she has had a very significant impact on my life. And I'm getting emotional because she died at the age of 47. And this year, I am turning 47. And I realized just how young that actually is. So I don't want you to allow your circumstances or your age where you are in life, money, I don't want you to allow anything to prevent you from finding your purpose. This podcast is dedicated to my grandmother and continuing her legacy of helping people. So often we feel like a job for which we are compensated is our purpose. But I really feel like your purpose is about how you spend your time, your energy, your talents, and the gifts that you have been given. And it is usually already inside you. You just have to unlock it so that you can take the next best step and then unlock that piece and take the next best step. And it is a process. Typically, we don't just go from being stuck one day to completely clear on where we're headed the very next day. And it's easy to feel stuck because we have spent so much time focusing on other people, whether it is just setting our wants and desires aside so that we can care for loved ones, or if it's that we are believing things that people in our lives or society is telling us about who we are and who we should be and what we should be doing. Whatever the case may be, you feel stuck, and then your mind can kind of go blank with the inability to come up with what it is that you want to do, because it has been so long since you have allowed your brain to be creative and to figure it out for yourself. But today, we are going to begin the process of getting you unstuck and taking action with 4 tips or suggestions for how to find your purpose. Because now more than ever, we need you, the highly sensitive woman, to bring your caring, compassionate kindness into our communities. So we are going to dive in, and these are in no particular order. You can do one or all 4 of them at any time you would like. The first action step that I want to offer you is to journal as many things as you can think of that you like and don't like. This journaling process will get your mind in a creative space and get you connected to yourself. I mentioned earlier that so often we put other people's needs ahead of our own, and that can leave you kind of disconnected from yourself and what it is that you like and don't like. As a highly sensitive woman, we also can get overstimulated pretty easily, and so we find ourselves almost trying to block our senses from being overstimulated. So when you're journaling and you're writing down things that you like and that you don't like, I want you to really think about tapping into all 5 of your senses. What foods do you like, or what activities do you enjoy doing? Places that you like to visit, sports or crafts or anything that you can think of that can be a category is fair game. And the reason that I want you to write down both what you like and don't like is it is really valuable information to have both. It is valuable to know the things that you enjoy and where you want to be spending your time, but it is also incredibly valuable to know things that you don't like and don't want to be doing, because if you fill up your time, and our time is very, very limited, if you fill up that time and energy with things that you don't like, then there isn't as much room and space and energy for the things that you do like. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying to be irresponsible. Something that I don't particularly like doing is washing dishes. But as a single woman who wants to be financially responsible, washing dishes is an activity that I must do. So that isn't what I mean. I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm just encouraging you to really reconnect with yourself and remind yourself what it is that you like and that you don't like doing. In a given year, we are blessed with 525,600 minutes. And it would be awesome if we could spend the majority of those minutes doing things that we enjoy doing and are fueling us and energizing us and making us feel like productive, fulfilled women. So some things that were on my list that I thought I would throw out there. I love chocolate mousse. I love the rich chocolatey flavor and the creamy texture. But kind of talking about the balance between what I like and what I don't like, I just really don't like liver and onions. And if that is something that you enjoy, kudos to you. It is not something that I am going to ever order or make for myself. But to kind of illustrate my point, if I spent my dinner time forcing myself to consume liver and onions, it is very, very likely that I would be sick and that I would not be interested in eating chocolate mousse, which I absolutely love. I mentioned that doing things that we enjoy kind of rejuvenate us. And at the time of this recording, just last night, I went out dancing to live music, and it had been a few months since I had done that, and it's something that I do fairly regularly, and I hadn't even realized just how long it had been until I did it last night. And I woke up this morning feeling completely re-energized, and I use this as an example of when we spend time and energy doing things that we don't like and not enough time doing the things that really fill us up, then it's kind of a ripple effect. We're not filling the tank. We just don't have as much energy to put toward pursuing other activities or showing up for the people in our lives the way that we would prefer to show up for them. I mentioned, tapping into your senses. So a sound that I really, really love is driving over gravel very slowly. I don't know what it is about that sound that I love so much, but it is something that anytime I find myself on a gravel road or a gravel driveway, I will purposefully, regardless of temperature, and I do mean that, like it can be freezing, and I will put every window down and I will slow down to about 5 miles an hour, and I will drive over that gravel very slowly, and it just puts the biggest smile on my face. And when I get to wherever it is I'm going, I notice that I show up in just a little bit better mood. Even if I was in a great mood to begin with, I'm in just a little bit better mood because I had the opportunity to enjoy something that, while it's pretty simple, it just makes my heart happy. And one more example that I want to give you, you have probably heard my senior dog running around. Of course, as I started recording, she decided that it was time to play and eat and get a drink of water. So that's life, right? But something that I absolutely love is the smell of a puppy. There is just something about puppy breath that is just so enjoyable for me. So those are a few examples to kind of get the creative juices flowing as you start journaling things that you like and things that you don't like. A second action step that I want to offer you is trying new things. As you're building this list, your brain, as it's getting in that creative space, might start to brainstorm things that you don't know if you like it or not because you've never tried it and you want to try it. And so whether that is taking an art class or trying a new restaurant or a martial arts class, whatever it might be, I encourage you to try new things so that you start generating more things to add to your journaled list of things that you like and things that you don't like, and you start getting a little bit closer to really just living the life that you want to live. And the other thing that kind of comes with trying new things is you never know who you might meet. I recently volunteered and I met a woman who connected me to another woman, and now I'm part of a small group. That wouldn't have happened if I hadn't, pushed myself to try something new. A third action step is to do an interest inventory of two things. On the internet, a variety of interest inventories that you can take that will give you kind of a test for you to input things that you like or personality characteristics, things that you don't like, those types of things. And then it will kind of give you a list of jobs and professions and volunteer opportunities that might be a good fit for you. I also want you to do an interest inventory of things that you are already doing that you probably aren't even aware of. Look in your email inbox and see what are the mailing lists that you are subscribed to, or take a look at your Kindle or your audiobooks and see what am I reading or what audiobooks am I listening to, what podcasts, TV shows, movies, etc. There might be some very valuable clues in the things that you were doing, that you were just doing them and not even thinking about it. For me, when I did this interest inventory and I was looking at the books and audiobooks and emails that I was consuming on a regular basis, it was all part of kind of the self-help mindset. And it just made me realize how much I wanted to be a coach. And then that led to me starting this podcast so that I can share what I have learned with you. And it was something that I hadn't even put two and two together, so to speak. I mean, I was consuming all of it and I enjoyed reading and listening to those things, but I hadn't even processed, this is something that might be giving me some clues about my purpose and what is next for me in life. So just take a look and see if it gives you any ideas as to what might be next for you. And then the fourth thing that I want to offer you as something to try to start giving you more clarity on your purpose is to volunteer or shadow or talk to other people who are doing that thing that you think you might want to do. Ask them what their day-to-day is like and get an idea of if it is something that would fit well for you and how you want to be spending your time. How much time are they interacting directly with people and how much time are they spending doing things for their job that are more independent work, and who does their product or service benefit? Because I believe that everything we do, whether it is a profession or if we are volunteering or just with family and friends, everything that we do, we are helping others in some way. Sometimes we are directly helping them, right? Like as a coach or a teacher, or some professions that it's very obvious, nursing or law enforcement. Some of those professions, it's very obvious that they are helping people professions, right? Because they're interacting with people directly. But there are other professions or other volunteer opportunities where you aren't necessarily interacting with the people that you are serving directly, and yet you are still serving those people. I mean, think about your garbage truck driver, right? How blessed are we to live in a place where someone drives a truck and comes and picks up your garbage? Now, are they interacting with us directly? No, but are they serving us? Absolutely they are, and I am so incredibly grateful for them. Factory workers, many of them are not interacting with us directly, but how grateful are we for the products that they are producing and that serve us in our day-to-day life? So just thinking about where you could volunteer or who you could shadow or who you could talk to see what it is that they're doing, and thinking about how that particular profession is serving others in some capacity might give you some more clarity about your purpose and get you unstuck. So just to recap, journal what you like and what you don't like and get your creative juices flowing to help get you unstuck. Try new things and see what else might be of interest to you that you had no idea. do an interest inventory of what you're already consuming and see if it has any clues to what you might want to do next. And then volunteer or shadow or talk to people who are doing that thing and see if it really feels like it might be a good fit. Because I want you to, 1 year from now, 525,600 minutes from right this moment when you're listening to this podcast, I want this next year, this time that passes, for it to be spent with you pursuing your purpose and not just time that passes where it's like Groundhog's Day and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again and continuing to feel stuck. I hope this episode has blessed you. And if you are someone who is, a do-it-yourselfer and listening to podcasts and reading books and taking these tips is all that you need to get you unstuck, that is great. But if you want some help discovering your purpose, let me know. I would love to have a conversation with you and see if we might be a good fit. You can reach me at info@lifecoachalyssa.com. Either way, I would love to hear what you uncover as you start taking these steps toward getting unstuck and discovering your purpose. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may be feeling like she's broken too? I'd love it if you'd leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It brings me so much joy to know this podcast is helping you. Now it's time for me to stop talking and go soothe my senses in nature. I'll meet you back here next week for another episode. Take care.